I've kind of always been like straddling the tech and design worlds, painting and sculpture, but at the same time always liked math, always was good at math.
Or was it really like at college, you're like, I didn't even know I could marry these two together?
I kind of always thought that I would, eventually specialize in one, but they kind of always were there. And so
they were always there,
yeah.
Just around the corners, ready to mingle. So we just want to do a meet the team, kind of get to know you. I know you've been with us for a few years now. So what's your background? How'd you get into tech?
So my journey to tech kind of starts in college. I've kind of always been like straddling the tech and design worlds. I've always been interested in the aesthetic side of things, but also in the math and technology side.
Okay.
And so in college, I kind of still had that dichotomy, didn't know which direction to go, and kind of found graphic design as kind of scratching both of those itches. So I got to be as creative as I needed to, while also being able to learn some web technologies and some programming. In the program I was in, it was kind of design through the lens of technology, so it was kind of both worlds.
Okay.
And that's when I started learning web technologies, and then next stop was Bixley.
That's cool. So were you kind of like an artist growing up, and then also, like you said, did the technical kind of tinkered with things, or was it really like at college, you're like, I didn't even know I could marry these two together?
Yeah, I would say, it starts probably much earlier. I was always kind of into the artsy side of things, like painting and sculpture, but at the same time, always liked math, always was good at math. And so,
Gotcha.
I kind of always thought that I would, eventually specialize in one, but they kind of always were there, and so
they were always there,
yeah.
Just around the corners, ready to mingle. Okay,
Exactly.
I like it. So Bixley, you come to Bixley. What brought you to us? Like, how did you first get connected with us?
So I don't know if you remember this story, but I actually met you a couple of years before starting at Bixley.
Okay.
Bixley was having like a kind of a local meetup for tech people, and I had heard about it from my friend whose wife is friends with your wife, and
yes.
So through the grapevine, I showed up, and that was kind of my first experience. Like,
we had like the helium sharks, right? That like floated.
I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
This is so good.
Yeah, so that was kind of my first experience of Bixley and seeing real developers.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of put you guys on my radar. And so then a couple of years later, once my skills were, ready, I threw out an application and started here.
We just gobbled it up.
Yeah.
That's good. So we got you on board. You're working with us now. What do you enjoy about Bixley? Like, what gets you excited? Yeah.
So, I think.
Why do you come here every day?
Why do I come here every day? Good question. I've been here close to 6 years now, and so I think kind of the shiny things that a lot of people like about Bixley, like the free snacks and the sodas and the games, and it's all nice. But I think the real reason that keeps me around for almost 6 years is like there's like an atmosphere of mastery, I think, at Bixley. Like there's the developers here really are really passionate about this stuff, and it's not just the bare minimum. We're not cutting corners. Like, they're actually interested in the limits of this technology, and I think that's kind of the spirit of Bixley, and then all the other stuff is just icing on the cake.
That's good. I'm glad, because that's our goal. Those kind of things are fun, and it is that, kind of extra vanilla frosting on the top, or chocolate, whatever your flavor of choice is, that gets you in, but you want the cake, you want to enjoy it, you want to be good, and it keeps you around. So I'm glad that you say that, and you're going to make me cry. I appreciate that. So what in tech excites you right now? You obviously come here, you work, you talked about mastering skills, improving, being better. What gets you excited? What's new and up and coming that you're like, man, I can't wait to do this for Bixley, or even just learn it on the side?
Yeah, so as you know, I'm kind of lately been more into the React JavaScript side of front end.
Which has been awesome.
Yes, that's been very exciting. But I think like my first and true love has always been the CSS side of things.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'm always, trying to keep up on what they're adding to the CSS spec and, all the up and coming plans for that. And so one thing I'm really excited about is this new technology called container queries in CSS,
Okay.
which, without getting too technical, is basically like a new level of control for creating responsive layouts. That's something the community has been, vying for like a decade. So it's like a really
It's a big deal.
Big deal in the CSS world. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to start integrating that on some projects.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty slick. When you're not here and you're not at home drawing pictures of penguins or doing math proofs, what other hobbies do you have? Like, what are you passionate about?
So lately, as for the last 4 months, my passion has been my 4-month-old daughter.
Yeah.
She's a handful, but just the journey of fatherhood has been really exciting, and that takes most of my free time. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's where you're at right now. If you had a little more free time, what hobbies would you see yourself doing, perhaps? Not that there's anything wrong with baby. That's great. But any other passions, maybe?
Yeah, so besides my daughter, I would say the rest of my time is split between reading, play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
It's really fun. That's about it. Some board games thrown in.
A little Dominion, Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride. Oh,
There you go. European edition?
Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's cool. Anything else that you would want to say to anyone that maybe is thinking about a career at Bixley, or even for a client that's looking to work with us, that just, someone watching this video, something that would be worthwhile in closing?
Yeah. This was my first job out of college, so, I haven't experienced the whole wild world, but I still think that this is a great place to work, and like I was saying before, like the people here really take it seriously and are really in love with tech. So it's a wonderful place.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Meet the Bixley team with our front-end developer and designer, Aaron Knott. I hope you enjoyed getting to know him a little bit better, because he is a valued team member here. And don't forget to check out the description box down below. We have a lot of really helpful links for you guys, including a link to our custom software guide that is completely free. Also, if you feel like you're ready to start talking about maybe building something with us and you want to see if Bixley is the right fit, check out our website, bixley.com. There's a button right at the top that says Get My Project Roadmap, and that will allow you to have a 60-minute conversation with Chris for free, where we start talking all about your app idea, give you our suggestions and insight, and maybe even a few estimates on what it would look like to get this off the ground. So thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Bixley Meet the Team.